here at Elwood's?
Yeah, I talked to him.
What happened? Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did talk to him.
Cool. Are you vegan now? No? Why not?
Why would I be?
Well, I think that if you care about, other living creatures, then you should consider it.
I admit that I'm eating animals.
Yeah.
Is exploration, but we all exploit plants. Animals exploit plants. People exploit plants. So sometimes it happens.
Yeah, I mean, most of the plants that are killed are actually because they're fed to farmed animals, so you could kill less plants by going vegan. But I don't think you...
Do you think like I'm killing one person versus killing 10,000 persons are the same? I think they are the same. They're just murder.
Totally. Yeah, where I don't have to kill, I try not to. So do you think there's a difference between killing a plant and killing an animal?
It depends. You need to slaughter animals in an ethical way, make sure there's no pain or
Do you think it's possible to kill an animal that's not painful or scary for them?
Maybe, because I saw a video of slaughtering pigs. The pigs are unaware of. They saw they are playing, and then there's a shock, like a very strong electric shock, go through them, so they just died. But they didn't know before.
But is there a difference between chopping a piece of broccoli and killing a pig, for example?
Actually, broccoli is. So this is not my major, but I think plants have. I read an article saying that plants, they have a way of communicating between them.
But do they have pain receptors or a brain or a spinal cord?
But you don't know that.
Well, I do know that broccolis don't have brains or spinal cords.
If they don't have pain, why would they communicate? Because scientists are interpreting plants, communicating for the they are talking to each other based on people and the environment.
Well, plants they can't feel pain, and that's scientifically proven because they don't have nociceptors, which are pain receptors. But let me ask you a question. You don't eat animals because you're worried about plants. That's not why you eat animals, right? Be honest with me.
Right, I'm just telling you, vegans are also hypocritical, or otherwise you can eat maybe rocks or
But we just established that there's a difference between eating plants and animals. So plants don't possess sentience. Animals do. So if I could live a life that minimizes suffering for others and seeks to end exploitation, why wouldn't I? Do you know what I mean? That's all veganism is.
Do you know that if a person is born, he or they is being exploited because they didn't choose to be born? I mean, if I can choose, I would choose not to be born to any parents or family or household. That's why
you would choose to not exist.
Yes, that's why
Okay.
That's the way I can stop exploiting anything else.
Okay.
But since I am placed here and I don't intend to commit suicide, because suicide is a wrong thing for me to do.
I hope not.
Yeah, it's like murdering another person. I mean, murdering yourself is also murdering to me. So
okay.
There is a reason.
So you're against murder?
Yes.
So then why aren't you vegan?
Because you are murdering plants. you said yes. Raising animals, murder more plants.
I'm slaughtering the corn.
What do you eat?
I eat everything I used to eat minus animal body parts and secretions.
You eat avocados.
I do because avocados still use less land and resources than cows do, than chickens, than pigs.
So you've watched the video showing you how to make avocados, the production of avocados consumes bee life. They need to release lots of bees and they will die.
Do you know where most of the bee life is lost? Do you know?
How?
It's lost from fertilizer and pesticides that are used to grow feed to feed farmed animals. So actually more bees are dying because of animal agriculture, not because of avocados. And plus, a lot of meat eaters eat avocados too, so we shouldn't be worrying about the 2% of vegans and avocados. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't.
We have to just be honest with ourselves and hold ourselves accountable, where we can't be perfect as humans, there's no way, but we can try to at least reduce suffering for others and seek to end their abuse and exploitation.
And also,
Come on, I know you care. You're a caring and empathetic person. If you saw an animal that was in need here in front of you, would you at least try to help?
Yeah.
You would, right? So, I mean, the difference is like when it's done behind closed doors, we just don't think about it. Like when it's done in a slaughterhouse, we don't think about it, but it's still, you know, if it were happening in front of us, we would probably feel really sad about it and try to stop that abuse from happening.
Well, for these animals, I mean,
Yeah.
producing food is like there are ethical regulations, so you can't like slaughter an animal with a knife or slitting the throat. No, but
They do.
yeah, there are different ways of slaughtering animals.
Yeah.
But I don't prefer to eat anything
No.
produced that way because
Yeah, of course.
I wish all animals are like killed with that suddenly electric shock to make them feel. You know,
Yeah,
they didn't know before they died.
I think also we have to tell ourselves something humane happened in the process in order to eat the products, when really it's far from the truth. They do get scared when they enter these slaughterhouses. They smell the blood, they hear screams. I mean, you know, if you were in that position, you probably wouldn't want somebody calling it humane, no matter how quickly you were killed.
What about animals eating other animals? Would you accuse the animals that are
Yeah.
what was the word like
Like a lion
Yeah.
or a tiger, yeah.
Yeah.
So lions and tigers, they are natural-born carnivores. So they have to eat other animals to survive.
Humans used to be carnivores.
But humans, no, we've always been omnivores. So that means that we can eat meat, but we can also thrive and survive on a plant-based diet.
Also, when you have a need, you can murder.
So
And that's
I
an
think,
excuse.
so I think you bring up a good point, because if it's a survival situation, I would probably kill to survive, yes. But in most circumstances, I'm not in a survival situation, so it's based on a different moral scale. Does that make sense? So like with lions and tigers, I don't base any of my other actions in my daily life off of what lions do, right? Lions don't wear clothes, they don't drive cars, they don't shop in grocery stores. In fact, lions sniff each other's butts and eat their babies sometimes. So I'm not gonna justify my ability to eat meat based off of lions just because they do it when they're nothing like us, you know? You know what I mean. Come on. That was a pretty good argument. You got to give it to me.
Oh, and by the way, I think humans are not born to live the minimal necessary for surviving. So humans, when they are sent to this world, they can eat more than just plants to acquire more nutrients. But also, I disagree with killing more animals than your need. For example, if you can't eat, don't waste food or produce like more food, because you eat something you feel that it can support your life, and then that's it.
There's a lot of food waste, yeah. A lot of animals are killed in these factory farms and not even eaten. There's a lot of food waste.
And by the way, you have to produce plants with bees. You can't go yourself for the pollen.
They have to be pollinated.
Yeah, they have to be pollinated. So
Yeah.
you will kill bees even if you don't want to. And I don't want to kill bees, but I think if I eat grain, I kill bees.
So bees, the biggest killer of bees comes because of the pesticides and herbicides used to grow plants to feed farmed animals. That's the biggest killer of bees.
So do you produce?
And also the honey industry kills bees
I
too.
don't eat honey.
Okay, great. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that it's not the 2% of vegans that
They are not
are
2%.
killing vegans.
Oh,
It's
by the way-
it's less than 2%.
If we all became vegans, we will kill more bees. Do you know what I'm saying?
Why is that?
Because we need more plant-based food.
Plant-based food you can actually have without anything to do with bees.
What kind of-
I would consider looking into it further, because it sounds to me like you care and you're just trying to find excuses to justify eating meat. But meat is the most toxic thing for the environment.
I don't and nobody has to justify for eating meat. Eating meat is not like eating person. You don't have to justify it.
But
You can just eat.
it is killing and causing harm to a living being. It is, and you're trying to justify it by bringing up bees and plants feel pain and lions. These excuses are very common. I've heard them all day long, but we actually have a pamphlet that shows these excuses,
It's going to be about when I saw that. But
which you brought up a few of them. So here you go. So So lions eat other animals.
Oh,
Plants.
this flyer stuff. Cool.
Plants have feelings. So yeah, you brought up very common.
Plants have feelings.
Yeah, so that's kind of like how we would respond to it.
Yeah, you can keep that.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, do you drink coffee?
I don't personally,
Okay.
but
like for the ground coffees, the coffee grounds, all coffee grounds have 10% of insects pieces.
okay,
in the
okay.
ground.
But the great news is that if you were to say, hey, Jamie, there's other alternatives to that, I would consider those other alternatives. You, on the other hand, are not open-minded, and you're not willing to consider alternative proteins that cause less suffering to all living beings.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm willing to look into things. If you told me avocados are bad, I would consider researching that and possibly not eating them anymore.
I mean,
That's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I will maybe eat less meat.
Okay.
I'm choose to eat more plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty, and I would like you to consider, if you were in this position, would you want somebody to eat less of you? Would you want them to try to find better ways of killing you? Or would you want them to stop that abuse fully? And I would just consider that every time you sit down to eat animals.
Well, if I were this pig, I would prefer the electric shock instead of being released.
Or would you prefer to live?
Well, actually no, because I've seen wild boars. Boars live a hard life when they got hit by cars and they got killed, abused by other hunters and people, and also they will compete for living, so they kill each other all
But
the
if
time.
you were a farmed animal and you were about to be sent to the slaughterhouse, you would hope somebody steps in and says, you know what, let's send you to a sanctuary instead. Let's not hurt or kill you, right?
Why would he send me to sanctuary? I mean,
Yeah.
I prefer not to exist, even as a human.
Yeah.
So if I'm the pig, piggy.
You're the pig.
I would prefer not to exist.
Yeah.
Instead of living as a free, happy pig, I would prefer not to exist. This is my honest answer. Do you want to live? Yes. I agree with people who say I want to live. That's common. I'm a very minimal. I mean, I'm the very minority of. I think I don't want to live. I just don't want suicide either.
Yeah.
To make other people sad.
I don't know if I'm following, but what I will say is that since we are already alive, since we already exist, we're here, I'm going to use my life to try and make the world a better place for you, for animals, for the environment, right?
To cause less harm.
That's exactly all Exactly. That's all veganism is. That's all it is trying to cause less harm and to keep in mind the end to exploitation. That's really the definition of it, to end exploitation for animals.
But also, the way you show veganism by saying dog meat making me feel a little bit nervous.
Yeah, I understand.
People might link them to Asian eating dogs.
Oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with that. The only reason that we're doing this is because it gets people to come over and talk to us, and it has nothing to do with race at all. Yeah.
And by the way, I told him I eat dogs, and I have an accent, so he mistook that as I eat dogs back home. I said I eat dogs back home.
Oh.
Like quack, quack, quack.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's who
I wouldn't judge you if you ate any sort. Like the difference is we're trying to say that there's no difference between eating a duck or a dog or a cow or we don't think there's any difference, but we're against all of it. That makes sense? Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, one last question.
Yeah.
If a certain animal do not have, very developed brain, like a clam, would you think that eating them are like eating plants?
That's a good question. Like sentience, I think, is where I draw the line. So like, do they have the ability to feel pain? And I would say clams clean the oceans, like they recycle a lot of like the dirt and the pollution, so I do not eat them, no.
Yeah, but you can't eat all the clams. I mean, you can eat a little bit of clam, and the majority of them are still living.
I have to look into studies about clams, like do they feel pain? I don't eat them personally, no.
Clam, oysters, some, I believe
bivalves.
Some animals, they don't have, as much.
Yeah, I think, like when presented with new information, I just try to be open-minded and I'm like, oh, okay, if I could eat something else, then I will,
Yeah.
But you're a really nice and open-minded person. I appreciate that. And for you to stop here and have this conversation and just help to, question the system is all we're asking people to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much. What was your name?
Clark.
Clara?
Clark.
Clark.
Yeah.
Jamie.
I would.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Plants have feelings, slaughtering animals, lions and tigers. I mean, we really went through all of it, but hopefully at least he has a new perspective on veganism, and we'll see what he does in his daily life. Hopefully cause less harm to animals and end their exploitation.